This is Haunted Fears. 3 most disturbing true. Florida's caves, horror stories. Deep beneath Florida's crystal springs and shadowy limestone pits lie cave systems that swallow people whole. Places where the water turns black, the air grows thick with whispers, and something always watches from the dark. What if I told you 3 ordinary people entered these caves and came back, changed, or didn't come back at all? Imagine squeezing through a narrowing tunnel, your headlamp flickering, when you hear slow, deliberate breathing that isn't yours, but it's right behind you, or surfacing in an air pocket 90 feet down, only to smell cigarette smoke from an invisible occupant. These aren't campfire tales. They're accounts from people who dove too deep, crawled too far, and saw what Florida's caves hide from the sunlight. The first story begins in Blue Grotto, where a solo diver found breath in a place no one could survive. Stick around Haunted Fears horror family, because once you hear what waited for her, you'll never look at spring water the same way again. If you're new here, hit subscribe and join the Haunted Fears horror family. We uncover the shadows together. Let's dive in. My name is Megan Riley. I found an air pocket 90 feet underground in Blue Grotto, but someone was already breathing there. I've been diving Florida's springs since I was 19, chasing that addictive silence where the world above just stops existing. 8 years of certifications, over 300 log dives, from the tourist traps to the real blackwater caves that swallow light and spit back nightmares. Blue Grotto in Williston was never on my danger list. It was a training site, postcard perfect, with its electric blue water and wooden platform where newbies snap selfies before chicken out at 30 feet. October 15th, 2022 was supposed to be routine. Solo Saturday dive after a brutal week. My boyfriend of 3 years had just walked out, left me with a half-empty apartment and questions I couldn't dive deep enough to drown. I needed the water's embrace, no buddies to babysit, just me, my twin steel 100s, shearwater computer, and a single Halcyon 1200 lumen light. Signed the waiver at 1:30 p.m., kitted up under overcast skies, water temp holding steady at 72 degrees. Dropped in alone at 1:45, fins slicing clean through 40 feet of visibility, catfish scattering like smoke. The main chamber, unfolded familiar, massive limestone pillars rising from the pit bottom, stalactites dripping mineral teeth from the ceiling 100 feet up. I followed the braided nylon guideline past the turnaround platform at 30 feet, where families waved from above, their voices muffled to nothing. Bubbles trailed silver behind me, my shadow dancing on the sand below. At 50 feet, the real grotto begins, the fissure. Yellow. No dive beyond this point, tape strung across a shoulder-width crack in the rock, fluttering in the faint current like a half-hearted warning. I'd peeked here before, on guided dives, seen the silt swirl invitingly into darkness. Today, something tugged harder. Curiosity, maybe recklessness from the breakup. Air check. 20 to 800 psi, 35 minutes left easy. I unclipped my finger spool from my waist, tied into the main line with a double loop, and wedged through, exhaling sharp to slim my profile. Rock scraped my dry suit valves with a teeth-grinding screech that vibrated through my jaw even underwater. The fissure fought me immediately. Walls pinched to 18 inches wide, forcing corkscrew twists, my tanks glancing off protrusions that sent puffs of silt exploding like underwater grenades. Visibility dropped to 10 feet, then 5, my light beam fracturing into milky chaos. Depth ticked past 60 feet, my computer's soft beep warning me I'd strayed from the plan. Ears equalized fine. Nitrogen narcosis still distant, just that building pressure in my chest like the cave didn't want company. At 75 feet, the tunnel shallowed upward at 45 degrees, gravel and loose limestone crunching under my fins. Silt so thick now, I navigated by feel, gloved hand trailing the left wall, spool paying out 50 feet of line. My breathing steadied, rhythmic through the regulator. Inhale, 4 seconds. Exhale, 6. until at 88 feet the passage broke open. I finned up hard, breaking surface into air. Actual breathable air, trapped in a limestone dome 90 feet below the world. Impossible. The pocket was oval, maybe 12 feet long, 8 feet across at the widest, ceiling sloping from 3 feet above water to touching the black surface at one end. Waterline stained rusty red from iron oxide, roots punching through cracks overhead like skeletal fingers. I hung there a moment, regulator out, gulping the warm, humid air that smelled faintly of earth and something else. No drip, no echo, just deadened stillness pressing my eardrums. My light swept slow, pocked karst ceiling, no obvious entry cracks, water below mirror flat. That's when the smell hit proper. Stale cigarette smoke, sharp and acrid, like a butt ground out in an ashtray 2 hours ago. Impossible drift from surface. Not at this depth. Not in sealed rock. Heart kicked up. I told myself, cave air currents. Old tobacco from some long-gone explorer. Treading water quiet, I played the beam across shadows, catching nothing but wet stone glistening. Then, inhale. Slow, wet, ragged from 3 feet away across the pocket. Not mine. Human lungs, deep and deliberate, like someone drawing on a smoke they didn't want me noticing. Skin crawled. I whipped the light. Empty rock, ripples lapping gentle where no current moved. Hello? My voice barely carried, swallowed flat. Another breath answered, closer, exhaling slow through teeth or nose, inches from my right ear now. No silhouette, no splash, just lungs working in the dark. Panic lit my nerves like bad trimix. I submerged to 92 feet, beam stabbing blind into silt, heart hammering so loud I felt it in my throat. Ripples pulsed unnatural, something displaced water nearby. I kicked for the tunnel mouth, reel spinning frantic. But the pocket felt alive now, walls leaning in, air above, heavy with that used breath stink. Surfaced again for gas, breaths matched mine perfectly. Sinking inhale for inhale, like it was pacing me. Light jerked ceiling ward, handprint. 5 fingers splayed wide, palm broad and masculine, pressed fresh into soft limestone just above the waterline. Edges smeared wet, silt dripping slow into black water below. No drip sound, just falling. Ceiling sloped too sheer for climbing, no handholds. No way anyone hung there seconds ago. Glistened like made that instant, fingers slightly curled like lifting away. My brain screamed narcosis, hypoxia, anything. But logs don't lie, and eyes don't hallucinate detail like that. No thought left. Submerged, bolted, finning silt storms, walls clawing closer on exit like the cave regretted letting me peek. Tanks banged protrusions, sparks of fear, each clang. At 70 feet, light flickered. Not batteries. Something brushed my fin tip, rubbery soft, trailing up my calf, insistent, probing. Ignored it. Gas 1400 psi, blew deco to hell, hit main chamber at 25 feet, lungs screaming fire. Rocketed surface, exploding through at 2:52 p.m., clawing platform wood, ripping mask off, vomiting lake water and terror. Divers gawked, asked if I was okay. I grabbed kit, stumbled truck ward on jelly legs, replaying breath's print, that touch. Locked doors, peeled out, hands white-knuckled wheel. Home that night, couldn't close eyes. Handprint burned retina, too crisp, too new. Scrubbed gear in driveway till 3 a.m., but sleep dodged me. Next morning, emailed dive computer log to my old instructor at Williston Dive Center. He called 45 minutes later, voice shot. Megs, that pocket's air tested 7.8% CO2 last month by rangers after a scare. Lethal in 10 minutes, forget smoking. No human lasts there, period. Form dove, next 2 days. R caving, scuba board threads whispering grotto breather. Divers hearing respiration in sealed pockets, lost reels, gear washing up clean weeks later. Blue Grotto fatalities, 14 since 1972, 9 past the tape, all disorientation or equipment failure. One 1998 report buried, Diver surfaced, babbling about man breathing his air. Tank empty despite 2,000 psi start. Tried science. Narcosis at 90 feet mimics drunks. CO2 buildup fools senses. But log showed steady gas draws, no spasms. Vis enough for detail. 3 weeks later, cleaning gear for sale. My primary tank triple rinsed, stored dry. Reeked cigarette smoke. Faint, cloying, like fresh drag. Bag 2. Sold everything cheap. Quit caves cold. Stick to ocean now. Blue water wrecks where things don't breathe back. But springs trigger it. That warm pocket air, on face, slow inhales shadowing mine at night. Feel watched diving open water sometimes, bubbles trailing too close. Whatever shared that dome, it marked me. Let me surface, maybe. Or maybe I'm the breather now, carrying it up. Florida's caves remember every visitor. Wonder if mine's still waiting, exhaling patient in the dark. My name is Dylan Pierce. The cave spit human bones onto my lap from 30 feet above. June 12, 2015. Cedar Key's limestone coast stretched endless black under a thin Gulf moon. The kind of night where tides carve secret mouths into Florida's forgotten shoreline. Hungry and patient. I'd been running my 19-foot Boston whaler Real Deal out of the city docks for 12 years straight, chasing redfish and speckled trout under starless skies, knowing the 11:15 p.m. low tide would bear the flats for waiting gold that paid the rent. Cooler packed tight with 12 Yingling longnecks sweating beads, Shakespeare ugly stick rod rigged with 1.4 OZ glow lures under 20 lb fluorocarbon, Garmin fish finder humming faint depth contours, AM radio crackling Sweet Home Alabama between salt static bursts that sounded like distant waves whispering warnings. 9:37 p.m. Hooked and boated a fat 29-inch black drum near the mangrove point, scales iridescent in headlamp flicker, slot limit perfect for the morning weigh-in. Cleaning blood off hands with sea rinse, I glassed the beach 70 yards downshore through Nikon binos. That's when it hit. Not the usual wave phosphorescent scatter, but a steady turquoise pulse throbbing from a cave mouth nestled under cedars, twisted like fleeing witches, branches clawing skyward. Rhythmic, 60 beats per minute heartbeat cadence, pure bioluminescent siren call pulling primal, overriding every instinct screaming turn back. Grabbed my Petzl. Mayo RXP headlamp, 400 lumens adjustable, 6-inch buck 119 special fillet knife, boot sheath locked, 4D cell mag light 200 yards throw, heavy-duty trash bag waterproofed with duct tape. Beached whaler bow first on crushed oyster shell still radiating trapped daytime heat. Boots sinking ankle deep into primordial muck, tide sucking out audible glorp, glorp, glorp like throats clearing. 10:52 p.m. Air supersaturated salt layered low tide rot. Fermenting fish heads, pulverized crab carapaces, something deeper like meat left too long in August sun. The cave entrance gaped like a fresh wound. 5'6", high X7'2", wide at sill threshold. Walls hydrodynamically eroded to glassy smoothness over centuries of saltwater surges. Overhangs dripping steady plink, plink, plink metronome. Muscles clustered thumb-thick glistening snot-like. Headlamp beam fractured harsh off barnacle incrustations. Balanus SPP. Oyster concretions razor-edged. Floor treacherous mosaic of water-rounded pebbles, shale, slabs, shallow tide pools, mirroring my distortion, back-warped like funhouse devil. Glow beckoned 35 yards coreward. Crawled entry gauntlet first, 12 yards all fours. Limestone knuckles gouging Levi, 501 knees, through denim, holes instant. Saltwater trickle snaking neck chill down spine. Walls crimping shoulder brush to 26 gauntlet width, forcing exhale twist. Chamber bloomed cathedral-style 18-22 feet. Floor X 12 feet vaulted ceiling. Walls wave-scarred horizontal 6-foot high tide graffiti. Glow origin pinpointed. 2-foot diameter seepage puddle center rear wall. Dinoflagellate algae. Pyridinium bahamense. Vortexing impossible blues, greens, violets, casting my silhouette 9-foot-tall grotesque on opposite wall. Head mushroomed clownish, arms spider long. Dead center geological monument. The Chute. Vertical industrial cylinder 4-3. Gauge, flaring corolla lips like 55-gallon drum maw, angling 82 degrees upward, 32 feet into Stygian void absolute. Perimeter floor, littered abalone fragments, conch opercula lips, bone-white shards, initially dismissed juvenile blue crab carapace. Standing now transfixed. Headlamp zenith sweep, revealing Chute interior ribbed with erosion flutes, 1 or 2 centimeters deep. Viscous slime sheening downward in slow-motion rivulets. Air stagnant, heavier than entrance brine meat, nostrils flaring involuntary. 10:58:23 p.m. First scrape. Initial faint register 22 feet elevation, precise acoustic like Nardo 1010 wetsuit rubber sole, pivoting wet gravel substrate. Weight shift deliberate minimum 180, 220 ELBs mass. Boots planted awkward, then dragging. Small pebbles, avalanched Chute flute, ping ping, tink 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 accelerating, then slap impact. C3 cervical vertebra struck left, trapezius muscle, precise, 1.7. Mediolateral span x 0.9. Antero-posterior, pink cartilage flanges, pliable millimeter-thick, silicious cave slime coat iridescent. Core temperature registering palm, 87.66 degrees hyperthermic. Instant synapse, overload revulsion cascade, as bounce direct, lap crush thud, denim thigh penetration, skittered rocks, crunch crunch. Froze neuromuscular lock, rib cascade initiated. T7, T8, T9 thoracic ribs. 9-inch scimitar curves, snot slick, copper-tanged oceanic, smacking sternum thwack windpipe compression. Medial bicep slap welt instant. Forehead, supraorbital ridge, crack hematoma swelling, immediate 1 centimeters. 7 vertebrae, L1, L2, L3, L4, L5 chain, staccato tumbling machine gun, piling lap 4-inch pyramid unstable, translucent flesh pennants dangling squid jelly iridescent, olfactory nuclear assault, iron blood dominant 70%, underlaid evisceration gut rot 30%, bile reflex gagging sphincters clenched, scraping escalated amplitude, wet rhythmic now 14 feet lip distance, mass displacement 250 plus, LBS belly pronation drag, bone spurs, snagging flutes, audible, tick 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 metallic. Headlamp, zenith lock, rigid. Void pulsed faint glow refraction index shift, crack structural. Proximal left femur, 9.2. Segment, trabecular marrow honeycomb, white-yellow beating fat droplets viscous. Jammed 68% descent trajectory, pressure blocking secondary cascade hydraulic. Thud slap slap slap. Right ilium pelvis wing, 6 inches boot toe shatter crunch splinter. Distal phalanges, actor ex raining dice tumble chaotic. Metacarpals 3 UVV finger snapping brittle. Chute obstetric horror birth. 28 elements scattered radius 6 feet. Articulated clusters implying preferential soft tissue stripping methodology. Left scapula blade, cartilage flexed, 1.2 millimeter thick. Periosteum, mauve pink, no desiccation weathering whatsoever. Scraping frenzied accelerando. Gargle undertone, clogged abattoir drain, meat grind hydraulic, 4 feet from birth lip now. Chute walls flexing visible, 0.8. Peristaltic wave, transmitting vibration, floor tremor felt boot soles. Light zenith glint register, enamel flash rectangular. No time synapse, bolted polar retreat vector. Headlamp chaotic 10 Hz strobe artifact. Bone crunch trader underfoot viscous traction loss coefficient 0.1. Palms coated sanguineous paste millimeter dermal. Walls crimped final 28. Gauntlet mercy, tide. 11/221:47 p.m. ankle rush foaming white of warpers per 30 sec. Glow source manic strobe illuminating bone pile ossuary. Torso complete scattered 80%. Ribs tinted skeletal collapse architecture. Air choked putrid saturation 90%. Chute rasp, vocalized phonemic. Gargled human a stone-dragged supplicatory hungry diphthongs, layered harmonic. Dived headfirst terminal 18 yards, saltwater diaphragm, high headlamp rip, velocity gash palms, dermal second degree avulsion. Waves mallet beach 3 Hz rhythm. Whaler yank anchor, 35 yards offshore, chain bar taut. Splashed gunnel vault trajectory. Cockpit floor, fetal retch, salt terror convulsion. Bone ghost weights, dermal acid etch. Phantom 98.6 degree higher persistent. 11:47, 12 p.m. dock return vector, limbs tetany lock. 80% motor, cutaneous crawls persistent, 40-10 intensity. Ziploc harvest quantified, 37 bones total. Full cervical thoracic axis. Partial bilateral pelvis, femur heads. 12 phalanges complete set. 4 carpals, navicular lunate. All dew slick iridescent spectrum. 0 7-year halochrome oxidation. PTSD eidetic flash. Cedar Key bait shop flyers laminated. Tyler M. Crabber missing 08. Glowing caves, final words, logged 10/17, E8. Don Levy County Substation, 06:30 hours. Bag plasma drip passenger floorboard corrosion. Desk deputy pallor ashen, N-Nider 910. Coroner summon immediate. Jesus fucking Christ. Tyler's DNA beach femur yesterday positive. Periosteum bled, 36 Hrs chronological. Chrono discontinuity absolute. Regurgitate recent post-processing. Chute micronization cycle confirmed. Property owner 73YO F250, shotgun rack Ford, sealed Tuesday 04:30. Zulu, 4-yard concrete plug, 3000 PSI, 666. Chain link galvanized 11 gauge, danger structural failure zone, 404 signage epoxy permanent. Dockside off record. Yuengling session 1700 hours. Chute operational continuous since 86 lunar cycle. Nocturnal tides vector. Inebriated drunks mass 160 300 retrial Bs. Chute micronizes hydraulic attrition, spits skeletal harvest, 80% recovery. Avian input documented pelican, dart shearwater incidental. Glow chemosensory bait vector, dinoflagellate, pyridinium engineered, cease inquiry vector immediate. Night terrors sovereignty. 87 consecutive cycles duration 4.2 hours average. Ablutions 47-minute cycles. Dawn dusk. $0,000. Steel wool dermal abrasion grade. Sirs 3. Shard phantoms subungal persistent 3x weekly. REM theater immersive. Glow strobed skeleton precipitation continuum infinite regress. Chute lips parturient my T12L1 sequential next perigee low. Whaler liquidated 4K under market loss. Cedar diurnal flats, aversion acute panic threshold. Salt arrow vector, phantom scrapes cutaneous 2.1 Hz auditory hallucination. Sheriff's FOIA denial, predation indeterminate vector. Tyler classified tidal vector accidental 2008. Local eidetic consensus, tide maw. Temusua lex talionis, overharvest penalty. Ossuary recirc, eternal geophagy. Gulf littoral avoidance radius 50 nm. Brack urine odor threshold, Chute drop thermals, mnemonic 0.01 ppm. Ungul salt crust nocturnal accumulation, 0.3 g weight. Talus grind somnolence disruption 92%. Glow eidetic appetitive memory alpha wave trigger. Tyler ingress integral once. Speculate femur impaction sequential Q. Chute weekly ration fresh protein biomass 2 type firsters. Low NEAP whispers, nominative orally registered O200 is a 400 hourly. I see the glow some nights from 3 miles offshore, bearing 247 degree, pulsing patient 60 BPM invariant. Last week found distal phalange index finger in whaler bilge. I sold 2 years back auction. Still wet, cartilage, pliable. Chute hungers. Low tide tonight. My name is Lauren Hayes. The cave pool showed my reflection, drowning while I stood dry. March 14th, 2021. 4:58 a.m. Ichetucknee Springs State Park north boundary. Mist cloaking the lazy river like spectral breath. Air 50 to a degree of crisp, with resurrection fern and clay dampness. I'd been doing sunrise meditation swims 5 years running, part vinyasa flow, part silent prayer, to drown out the Gainesville insurance office grind that paid my mortgage but starved my soul. Main River floats were routine, 72 degrees current carrying me past lazy tubers, kingfishers diving precise, but that morning felt charged anomalous. 2 days prior, a Timucua heritage contact from the University of Florida Anthropology Department slid me coordinates via encrypted text, 29.431 degree N, 82.47 degree W, unmarked sinkhole off Blue Trail, Cedar Thicket 0.7 miles, Timucua, Pataqua Mirror Pool, Sacred Lethal, shows ending burn after reading. No park maps marked it, no Yelp reviews, no All Trails pins, private geological orphan, rumored to shatter psyches. Parked my 2014 Subaru Forester at North Launch 5:02 a.m. Yoga mat, Manduka Pro 6mm, rolled tight under left arm, black bikini under Patagonia hoodie, Thermos King 40 O's ginger lemon tea, steaming 104 degrees Celsius. Teva Hurricane sandals dew slick. Bushwhacked 23 minutes, 4,000 steps through saw palmetto gauntlet, 4/6 high. River's otter trill murmur, fading behind karst limestone outcrops, cloaked resurrection, fern 18, fronds curling nocturnal. Heart rate steady, 68 BPM, breath 478 box pattern. Until terrain dropped vertical 8 feet sudden, revealing perfect 12-foot diameter circular sinkhole. Lip circumference, 37.7 feet moss-lipped limestone apron. 18 wide, water surface, mirror flat obsidian polished, 0 ripple, 0 leaf debris. Reflecting dawn blush, RGB 255, 192-203 exact atmospheric. Air humidity, 98% hummed electric 7.83 Hz. Schumann baseline, plus 2.4 Hz anomalous. Olfaction wet clay dominant 60% overlaid burned white sage Artemisia ludoviciana 30% trace decomp methane 10%. No inlet visible, no outlet stream, geological stillborn, aquifer pulse subterranean. Circled clockwise, 3 revolutions 5 ma radius, yoga mat unrolled instinctive lip center, Ngua stone compass bearing 247 degree magnetic. Knees sank, 2 ifr, loamy sand, palms lotus position, reflection stared reciprocal, 31 years, biological, hazel irises shadowed inferior orbital rim from 3x weekly insomnia, brunette bob damp perspiration, 85% RH, freckle constellation, 23 points nose, bridge precise, initiated breathwork protocol, inhale, 4s nasal, hold 7s, exhale, 8s pursed, cycle 1 to 6 normal, cycle 7 reflection blinked autonomous half-second lag, 0.47's frame, while biological eyes held steady unblinking, mouth twitched silent sublingual, lip-readable phonemes. Look closer. Thermoregulation failed. Chills spidered thoracic lumbar despite ambient 68 degrees rising. Rationalizing refraction index gradient angle play parallax. Leaned orbital rim 3.2 inches from meniscus. Reflection pupils dilated 7.1 meter independent biological 4.8 meter. Scleral veins threading redder delta 15%. Lips forming drown. Unambiguous 98% legibility. Tongue tip visible apex. Retinal afterimage persisted 4.7 seconds post-retreat. Pulse jumped 110 BPM carotid palpable. Surface meniscus disturbance null absolute. Yoga sequence abandoned. Stripped hoodie pooled ankles. Toes dipped tentative. Water. 100.22 degree TAD body core exact. 0 thermal delta shock. Viscosity. 1.05x standard. Inviting unnatural seductive. Full submersion controlled 12 seconds. No splash register audible. Sank maximum 8.4 feet depth. Limestone walls fluted. Karst solution pipes 1 to 3 cm diameter. Bottom silt mound 2.6 ft. High faint. Bioluminescent specks. Pyridinium. Winking irregular 0.8 Hz like distributed compound eyes. Submerged calm enveloped absolute. Null current vector. Visibility infinite crystal 40 plus ft. Light shafts angling Gothic cathedral refraction through canopy lacuna 23rd degree in incidence. But surface meniscus, sick-ift overhead, warped horror real-time. Reflection thrashing violent amplitude, arms flailing windmill 180 degrees arcs, bubbles exploding silver hemispheres 4-6 diameter, mouth gaping submersion scream, silent liquid distortion maximal, biological form floated serene mannequin, breath hold capacity 92 seconds logged, body motionless statuary, reflection, eyes rolled superior whites, only exposure 80%, nails clawing air, futile 40 similar strokes, legs bicycle kick frenzy, 3-year Hzer. Drowning biomechanics exact protocol while biological respiration reserve 74% remaining O2 sat. Panic threshold flickered, 22% activation, but curiosity dominant 78% pinned. Exhaled controlled test, 24% volume. Bubbles rose, lazy, 0 to and Eve tier S. Parting meniscus, 0 ripple register. Reflection chest heaving convulsion retractions. Intercostal, suprasternal. Cyanosis, bruising lips, blue delta, 40% RGB. Heart hammered 164 BPM sustained. Push deeper, 2.2 feet absolute. Silt stirring faint clockwise vortex. Reflection now gargling ingress. Body arching bowstring. Snap lumbar hyperextension. Fingernails raking phantom throat, leaving 4 parallel red welts. 2.1 N lengths visible, underwater subsurface, on reflection neck, biological neck, null unmarked real time. Ascent urgent ballistic 4.2 seconds. Broke meniscus clean. 0 splash displacement. Gasped air, sweet normal 20.9%. O2, hauled yoga mat, lip trembling 8 Hz, microshivers. Water sheeting body complete 2.1 gallons. Meniscus mirror showed calm. Lauren standing dry mat center. No scratches visible. Smiling faint Mona Lisa curvature, 3 degrees like covenant shared intimate. Collapsed knees, bilateral sand interface. Neck burning phantom neuropathic 710 VAS. Fingers probed systematic. 4 parallel scratches. 2.1. Longitudinal X, 0.812. Width, weeping serum beads, crimson hemoglobin, 15 Gzer DL, nail mark depth dermal layer, 1.1 mm average, positioned exact reflection, claw path vector, underwater subsurface. No proximate branches, 50-50 radius. No entry graze rocks logged. Limestone lip moss buffer, 100%. Impossible external etiology vector. Sat catatonic, 23 minutes 14s. Thermos T cold 60 degree. Replaying dissonance cognitive fracture. Calm biological versus drowning doppelganger. Bushwhacked exfil 6.17. AM 3871 steps reverse. Scratches stinging salt sweat 3.2%. NaCl Forester dashboard jelly legs failure. Home shower revealed deepening purple ecchymosis. Deuterix baseline. No cellulitis infection vector, but persistent throb neuropathic 610 hourly. Google Scholar. Gestor frantic. 4HR session. Temukue oral histories fragmented. Ichetucknee Pataqua. Death lens sacred warning. Potano clan. Suicides 1600s post Nervaez contact. Reflection. Etches fate. Aquifer memory. Local divers scuba board form thread 2014 archived. Sync reflection showed me crushed cave collapse. Avoided Blue Grotto incident 9 days later, 100% predictive. Park Ranger anonymous whisper tip 2019. Temukua death lens binding shows end etched eternal defiance accelerates. Weeks unraveled systematic decompensation. Scratches scarred keloid hypertrophic white raised 1.2 Iwer. Mirror gaze trigger autonomic now. Reflections blink lag 0.3 0.7's variable. Mouth drown, faint 60% legibility some nights lunar phase. Correlation 87%. Quit river swims, cold cessation. Day 7, corporate job frayed panic threshold. 3x weekly, 1432 onset. Hypnosis regression session. July 9th, $225. Regressed sink immersion. Felt water hands, 4-fingered webbed gripping ankles. Subsurface, 10.2 pulling calm biological towards silt eyes, winking invitation, 1.2 Hz synchronized. Scratches itched lunar cycle peak, weeping clear, cirrus fluid, 0.8 neural daily full moons. Returned October 17th, dawn, solo recidivism. Sink gone absolute, collapsed silt-filled 100%. Palmettos reclaiming lip 24, overgrowth. Limestone apron cracked, radial 6 spokes. Locals nodded grim consensus. Pool claims peakers premature. Yours called early vector confirmed. Nightmares looped eternal 4.3 HR cycles. Surface thrashing, Lauren versus Deep Lauren serene smile, micro 3D grain. Scratches self-inflicted underwater unseen haptic null. Reality fractured permanent tensile strength 0%. Tamukwa elders, Discord server warned 11:03. Pataqua etches fate soul deep bedrock. Fight showing kills, slower acceleration curve. Fight daily ritual avoidance still water surfaces, but reflections betray systematic. Bathroom sink lag blink tonight 0.401s. Hotel mirror drown, 82% legible. Drowning waits patient aquifer, some nights silt eyes winking audible through floorboards, 0.9 Hz the infrasound. Drains gurgle, drown, whisper 0200 or 0400 hourly. Last night claw marks reappeared neck 4x, identical vector. Bled 2 ml, didn't feel application. If this chilled you, Haunted Fears horror family, smash subscribe and hit the bell. More shadows uncovered weekly. Join us where the reflections lie.
This story, including the research, script, and editing, was completely created by me. Thank you for supporting original content.